Hello. Today I'm gonna be telling you my top 5 river or creek smallmouth lures. If you want, I'll make one on a lake. I'll probably make one anyway for lake smallmouth. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna be going from worst to best, I guess. And all these are my top 5, so none of them are gonna be the worst. I'm gonna say number 5 is a tube. They catch fish, they work really well, but in my opinion, there's just other things that can imitate a crawfish or a bait fish just so much better, which is the only reason that's number 5. Again, a great lure. I personally wouldn't throw this color. I would try to go for, a more natural color, and by that I mean just like not gold flake. Like this green is an amazing color, just without the gold. Like watermelon red, watermelon black, or just watermelon seed, which is just this color just by itself. Works amazingly. But yeah, that's number 5. I guess let's move on to number 4, which for me is gonna be a little jerkbait, just like this. This is a 3-inch jerkbait, I believe. Good hooks and a floating jerkbait. That's probably the most important part of floating jerkbait, because those smallmouth, when you dig it down, it'll bounce off the rock, and that's when you just stop it. It'll float up, and on that way up, a smallmouth will grab it and get hooked. This color right here, the green with the white belly, that'll work really well. I would probably go with just like a plain white, or this color would do fine, but I'd probably just go with a plain white with the black back, kind of like what this has. Just take away the green. And this right here, this will catch you a lot of fish, and I would use that on a day like today, because it's perfectly calm, there's no wind, and it's overcast. So a moving bait or a top water as well just works perfectly on a day like today. And then we'll go on to my next, which would be a Ned rig. So this, I don't have a Ned rig rigged up, but this is a Ned rig lure. This is a Sakoshi bug. Made by 10,000 Fish. And this is just like the perfect little craw imitation. You see, and then it has that blue belly. So this right here, it'll look like a crawfish. It'll look like a bait fish. And these will last you forever unless you break off. But yeah, these are floating Ned rigs. So these will be standing up, just kind of like that in the water. Just, it really depends on your jig. If you have like a belly-weighted hook, then it's not gonna. But if you have an actual Ned rig hook, like a mushroom head hook, it'll work amazingly. I mean amazingly. This color wouldn't be my first pick. Here, you can see it right there real well. It's got the blue belly and then that brown back. It's alternating colors. So on this side, the bottom's blue and the top's brown. And that, a great color here. These are 2.5 inch. I don't know what color this is. Blue craw. So yeah, this color would work. It wouldn't be my first pick. My first pick again would be a more natural color, whether that be a natural baitfish color like just white with a black back, or if it's a natural craw color, which would be brown or green, or it really depends on the water you're fishing. But yeah, that's number 3. A Sakoshi bug. A Ned rig in general doesn't have to be that. I just like those because they work. And then number 4 is a spinnerbait. This is a lighter spinnerbait. So this is, I want to say 3/16. I'm pretty sure this is 3/16. It's got 3 willow blades. but it's really not all that big, right? So it has a big trailer on it. Yeah, I get that. It has a big trailer on it, but this will really catch you bigger smallmouth. Not necessarily numbers, but this will catch you like a lot better smallmouth, like 1+ pound smallmouth. And out of a small creek or river, that's a really good size. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are for like wading the river, walking the river, not for like, say, fishing at a dam or something, like where you're just on the bank and you're just casting in like 20 feet of water. Like, these will work, these lures will work, but these are specifically for wading the river, like walking and casting up the river. But yeah, spinnerbait, that's gonna be my number 4. A spinnerbait's really good, especially in this color right here. It's a natural gold and black, a wonderful color. And then it's got, again, those 3 willow blades. I prefer willow blades, for rivers at least, just because it's not so much thumping, and you're not necessarily gonna have a heavier rod. All right, you're gonna want to be using the shortest, not necessarily lightest, but like a medium action would be great for most of these. A medium, I'd even go down to a light. I wouldn't go down to an ultralight, but a light to a medium, I think, is going to be your perfect rod weight. And that spinnerbait, you'd probably want a medium. The jerkbait you could fish on anything really. The jerkbait doesn't really matter as much, I guess, because jerkbait you can throw on spinning rod, bait caster, you can throw that on anything. But yeah, spinnerbait, natural color, good. And my all-time favorite, number 1 creek, river, smallmouth bait is gonna be, here, if I can get a package for you. I had to bite it. Is going to be, come on now, a black hair jig. This is a 1/4 ounce black hair jig, right there, 1/4 ounce black hair jig, and I'll either put like a tiny, like a 3-inch Senko on the back of this and work it with like a Ned rig. The reason I would do that is because these Ned rigs right here, the Sakoshi bug, they're gonna be like too thick, I guess, too wide for this hair jig, and whereas a 3-inch Senko's like really skinny. But this really, I'll just be throwing it against rocks and stuff and just hopping it along the bottom. Sometimes I'll even, if I have a curly tail, I'll either use a curly tail or a Senko as a trailer on this. If I have a curly tail, I'll even, like, fish it a little more aggressively around trees, and I'll kind of like hop it really hard, like really far, so that curly tail really spins along that cover. And this will catch you big fish. One of my biggest smallmouth I've ever caught out of the river anyway, was on this, and it was just over 3 pounds, and I've caught multiple 2s, 2.5s on this, and it's not, like, again, this is not a very big, like, here, compared to the spinnerbait, this is not a very big lure. These are same spot here. This is actually in front of the spinnerbait. But yeah, you can tell the difference in size, and you'll catch bigger fish on this. But I've caught 3-inch smallmouth on this, and I've caught 3-pound smallmouth on this. So this will catch you just about anything and everything. And you can use a brown. Those are the 2 colors I would use, either a brown or a black. The brown, I feel like, is a little more natural, just because crawfish are typically browner, and so are bait fish. But there's something about this black, I just catch so many fish on it. Awesome. Just this black, I don't know what it is, it just works so well. But yeah, to go through, we have tubes, a jerkbait. Again, jerkbait works for anything. Ned rig, again, works for anything. Spinnerbait, typically bigger fish. And then hair jig, anything. And the reason I like the hair jig more than, say, the Ned rig or the tube, because they're basically fishing the same thing, is you can tell this hair jig's like a lot smaller than one of these here. This hair jig is a lot smaller than one of these Sakoshi bugs. It's like half the size. And so I'll just catch more fish on this. But again, I catch big fish on this as well. And same thing with a tube. Like, this is like half the size of a tube, but it just works so well. And yeah, those are my top 5, I guess, creek or smaller river smallmouth lures. Yeah, if you want, again, I'll make one on like the lake. If I do, it'll probably be the big lake, Lake Michigan. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're not, thanks for being here.